And we're back, guys, and we got a juicy video for you today. Come inside, have a look around, like the video, hit the super thanks, but brace yourself. And look, get involved, comment below because this is going to be juicy, guys. And she's at it again. Look, I talked about this in the past, how Elena Rybakina was asked before their meeting in Australia, what surface do you prefer to play Iga Swiatek on? She said, listen, I don't care what surface we play on. Pow! That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, protect Elena Rybakina at all costs, okay, guys? Not only does she speak her mind when it comes to improving the playing conditions for these players, but she wants to smoke with the world's number one. That's right, she wants all the smoke, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, that's a phrase for she's not afraid. She wants the drama. She wants it every day of the week. She's not afraid of Iga Swiatek, and I just feel with Iga being so dominant at this point at time in tennis, if you want to do well against her, you have to believe that you can beat her. And the head to head officially is 4-2 on the main tour. But if we take a look at all the times they've stood across the net from each other, Elena Rybakina has beat Iga Swiatek 7 times. 7 times, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. She beat her in the Italian Junior Championship on clay. And she's beat her a couple times in the World Tennis Organization. 7 times she's beat Iga. And I've told you in the past why she does well against Iga Swiatek. Now, she was recently asked, who's the tougher opponent, Sabalenka or Iga? She said she thinks Sabalenka's the tougher opponent because she's more dominant with Iga. Wow, ladies and gentlemen, she said she's more dominant over Iga. That's right. She feels she dominates Iga. Unbelievable. And listen, I've said this in the past. I think she does too. And I've explained, in case you're new to the channel, okay, we all know this channel has a huge US presence, right? But we also have a huge Polish presence. So look, Polish fans, thanks for all the love and support. You know, I've been supporting Iga since the beginning. You know, a lot of you guys showed up after the win streak, but I appreciate it. Thanks for all the love and support. But I call it how it is, ladies and gentlemen. And you have to appreciate the truth in this world we live in nowadays. And Elena Rybakina, in my opinion, she frustrates Iga because her power is just on another level. Iga Swiatek, she's able to dominate her opponents with her quick strike tennis, her amazing footwork, her counter punching, and her ability to transition from defense to offense and offense to defense. She's just faster than everyone else, right? Especially when it comes to clay, she's able to slide into her shots perfectly, and she just moves well on clay. She's a natural. She's I mean, if she keeps it up, it's possible she can become the female version of Nadal, especially when it comes to the French Open, going for number 4 this year. But not if Elena Rybakina has a say, guys. The reason why I think Rybakina plays so well against Iga is I've explained it to you time and time again in the past is because of the deep ball. Iga Swiatek, I have a highlight reel of points from Iga Swiatek. She's winning most of her points inside the baseline, right? She's able to come and just attack that back foot with her backhand against her opponents, or she's able to go down the line or even cross court with the forehand. She's playing a lot more closer towards the net these days. She's coming forward a lot, and I think Elena Rybakina is going to have the opportunity to attack the passing shots the next time they meet. But the deep ball, when you see Rybakina face Iga Swiatek, she's backing her up past the baseline, extending her 8 to 10 feet with that high ball bounce behind the baseline. And Iga Swiatek, she's not a threat to win a point that far back behind the baseline. And I talked about last summer how Iga Swiatek, she bulked up, she got stronger, and her ground strokes now are very strong. She's getting, yeah, Iga, that is, she's getting much stronger. And I talked about that last year, how she kind of had a struggle after winning the French Open, going into grass and back to hard. She struggled a bit, and we saw Coco pick up her first win. Coco played amazing in that match, and I felt Reba was a big factor in Coco dominating the hard court season last year. And now Reba's with Queen Wen Jung, who's playing amazing, by the way. But not just Iga. 90% of all players on the tour behind the baseline that deep, you're not a threat, and that's just it's a known fact. Anyone that plays tennis, you're on the defensive. You're gonna come back with a high ball, some type of top spin to buy time. And Elena Rybakina being so tall, when you're coming back defensively with her wingspan, it's just not enough. She's stepping up and she's hitting winners, and she puts too much pressure on Iga, not only backing her up behind the baseline, but her power. She matches Iga's power and she ups the ante +1. She's stronger than Iga. Iga has trouble returning Rybakina's ball, and then you factor in the serve. And let's wait for the serve. Rybakina's now becoming a much better two-way player. I talked about her defense the last 2 to 3 seasons, how it's been amongst the worst inside the top 10. Well, she's improving her defense. She's winning 20 to 30% more of her return games. She's doing a better job with her volleying. She's playing much better at the net. And now let's talk about the serve. The serve is lights out. Anytime Rebecca is down, she's in a jam, 15, 30, 30, 40, you can bet she's going to come back with her best stuff in terms of her first serve. She's going to get an ace, if not on the first serve, the second serve. And then she's back inside that service game. This is why she's so tough. And a lot of it's based around her serve. That first serve is so powerful. Iga can't get into her normal rhythm and short pattern chess play. She's backed up from the onslaught of that rocket of a serve. So it's a tough match for Iga. And if we take a look, guys, this year, Elena Rybakina is just she's dominated. And look, she beat Iga in Germany 3 sets. I called that this year. Iga did get the victory in Doha, so they've exchanged the last 2 matches. But what about Rome last year, where Iga had to retire due to a freaking injury because of the ground strokes from Rybakina were too powerful? Let's not act like you guys don't remember that. Iga literally, and this is what happens when you're facing someone that's stronger than you, and this is where the transition happened after the French Open, where she started to bulk up and work on the deep ball and just improve the speed and strength on her ground strokes. Iga got injured that match in Rome because Rybakina was too strong. When you're facing someone that's too strong, there's a couple things you're going to do. You're either going to avoid their power, play more defensively, try to get them to, not get settled and find a rhythm, mix in drop shots or slices to take away from their ability to use their power to their advantage, or you're going to increase your power. You're going to try and hit bigger and go bigger. We saw Iga, who and I've talked about this in the past, how I do think her drop shots, and she's got to work on her slices, but she doesn't really need to, because most players can't put her on the defensive to where she has to go to those type of shots and want out of the rally, except for someone like Rybakina. We saw Iga go bigger and stronger in that match, and it led to an injury. And you got to be honest with yourself. If you watch that match, that's how she got injured. She started to go bigger because she couldn't hang in the rallies, and she ended up getting injured in that match because of it. That's the truth. Let's not sugarcoat it. But we know Iga's an amazing player, but it doesn't matter how great you are. There's always going to be someone that has your kryptonite. And Elena Rybakina wants to smoke. She says she dominates Iga. Unbelievable. Now, when taking a look at Sabalenka, she said Sabalenka's the tougher match. And again, it's comparable here. Elena Rybakina has beat Iga Swiatek 7 times. Sabalenka's beat Elena Rybakina 6 times. Now, I'll be honest with you. I thought that championship match they played in Australia earlier this year, the Brisbane 500, it looked to me like Rebecca Sabalenka came into the match a little too happy-go-lucky. She's joking at the net at the coin toss. Did you guys see that? I'm like, are you here to be buddy-buddy or play a match for a championship? It seemed like Sabalenka was not interested in winning that championship, and she got smoked. And I'm like, what was that about? You're joking before the match. It seemed like she was just partying the night before, and she wasn't even ready to play, because she did not play. I don't care what you say. She did not play in that match. Okay? She's joking and laughing at the net, and she gets a bagel. What's up with that? I felt a couple times they've played Sabalenka. I think this head to head, realistically, I think it could be 8-1. Because a few of those wins that Rybakina has over Sabalenka, I felt Sabalenka did not play. And that's just my personal opinion from watching every match. I can look at someone's body language. I can tell when they're there and when they're not there. I watch enough of these ladies play to notice when something's off. For example, I called it first. The what was that Miami match where Elena Rybakina this year in Miami? Who did she face? Let's see. Give me a minute to think. She faced someone in Miami. I think it was Victoria Azarenka. Now I told you Azarenka would win a set as the underdog plus money. What happened in that second set? She took it off. Remember that? And her excuse for taking it off was she felt she wanted to conserve energy and get ready for the third set because she felt, once she was down 2-love in the second set, she felt it was too much to be able to come back. She would expend too much energy. And I can understand that. That's a good strategic game plan because she's had issues with her stamina and absorbing nutrients. I'm okay with that because it's strategic. It's not like she's doing it. I mean, she did do it deliberately, but it's strategic. So it's going to be in the best interest for her to pack it in and prepare for the third set. Me, I would never recommend my player do that because what happens in the third set, you get down, you're gonna quit too. Once you start doing stuff like that, it becomes a habit, and you think you can get away with it until you start losing. So I wouldn't recommend my player do that at all. We're gonna fight, and we're gonna fight because tennis is it's a game of timing and rhythm. I called a match yesterday where Barbora won at one point, taking on Victoria Golubic. She won 9 out of 11 points. But then you saw Golubic turns the tide. So we're seeing players up 4-love and then down 5-4 in a set. We're seeing this players down 4-love in a tiebreak and now up 5-4 in a tiebreak. So tennis is about it's about that timing. Once you develop your timing, you can literally go on a tear and run off several service games in a row. So I'll never tell my player to pack it in. But I think this head to head could easily be 8-1. So, but the reason I think Rybakina struggles against Sabalenka is Sabalenka ground strokes are more powerful, but when it comes to her ability to defend inside the baseline and pressure opponents beyond the baseline, I think Sabalenka has a little bit more range than Iga. And that creates a little bit of a challenge because when Iga's behind the baseline, she's more defensive. When Sabalenka's behind the baseline, she can still beat you from the baseline. She's taller, she got a longer reach, and she's just got more range on those balls. That's where that difference between ability to attack behind the baseline comes into play, and Sabalenka has the edge there where she's constantly putting a little bit more pressure on Rybakina with the deep balls. That's the big difference. And then you factor in the serve. We all know Iga Swiatek's average serve is about maybe 105 to 109 miles per hour. Sabalenka, she's got some of the fastest serves on record at these tournaments. She can get up around 130 if she wants to, right? And that's another difference maker where Rybakina is starting these rallies, whereas Iga, she's looking for the serve placement. She's more strategic. And Sabalenka is strategic as well with her serve, the fact that she's reduced her double faults. But Sabalenka's looking to blast you off the court with that first serve, while Iga's looking for more serve placement so she can set up her rally. And that's a difference maker there because Rybakina starts these rallies on the back foot. So that's the difference why I feel she struggles more with Sabalenka. But let's talk about the big three. Corey Coco Gauff, guys. She's never beat Coco. And listen, matchmakers, we need this matchup. I'm so sick and tired of having to talk about how Coco would run circles around Rybakina. We need this matchup. I don't care if you put it in the first round. We need it. Put them in the same draw. We need to see this before a quarterfinal in one of these matchups. Okay? And we need this ASAP because I'm telling you guys, this is the big three. It's Iga, Sabalenka, and Coco. And the reason why we all know in terms of all of these players on tour, no one's had the better teenage career from 13 to 19. Coco just turned 20. She's entering a new stage of her career. We're going to see how she does in her 20s. I think she's going to have over 10 slams by the time she reaches 30. Because as these older ladies start to slow down, and Rybakina is showing signs already that she's slowing down with her health. Let's pray she has a long, healthy career. We do not want to see Rybakina continue to miss tournaments, okay? We love Rybakina. We want her to do well. But Sabalenka's in her mid 20s. She's going to start to slow down in a couple of years. And for any of you that ever played athletics, it just happens overnight. You come back a season, you don't have that training regimen, you don't have that ability to put forth those long training nights and days, and your play declines. And next thing you know, you're average. That's how it happens. So in terms of longevity, Coco's the best investment right now of all the players. She's got the most upside, and we need this matchup. I personally think that Coco's going to be too fast for Rebecca. I personally think that her deep backhand, that defensive backhand that she can also attack with, I think that's going to cause Rebecca a lot of problems. Even despite the double faults he's making, Coco's still beating the best players in the world, making so many mistakes. I think Rebecca, she's going to have her serve. She's going to hit her aces, but Coco's going to hit passing shots. She's going to be too dominant mid court from the backhand side of things. She's going to probably play more defensively with the forehand, but that's not going to matter because Rebecca, the minute she steps up to going for the kill, it's going to be a passing shot for Coco. I think once these two ladies start to play a little bit more, you're gonna see who the true big three is. But you're also gonna see why Rebecca is just it's just gonna be a bad matchup against Coco. So personally, if we add Coco in this mix, they haven't played enough, and of course, we know Coco's the most popular player worldwide, so it's gonna be tough for a lot of these players to give Coco their credit, which we've seen a lot of the media, especially the Eastern media, just ignore Coco like she didn't have the best career we've seen out of every lady on tour in terms of teenagers. Let's no, Iga did not have a better teenage career than Coco. She didn't. Sorry guys, go go fact check that. Go fact check it. Coco won the Orange Bowl. She won so many championships coming up as a teenager. And then you talk about all the championships she won on the main tour. I mean, she started on the main tour with a half schedule. She couldn't play a full schedule. She's 15 years old, for crying out loud. She won her first title against Elena Sabalenka at 15 years old. Someone Iga can't even beat. Styles make matchups. And the reason why Coco struggles against Iga, a lot of you guys don't realize, Coco's playing much more defensive. She's got to get a little bit more offensive minded. She's looking to counter punch and she's looking to put pressure on Iga with her defense, but you can't. Iga's looking to win these rallies in two, three, four shots. Coco's gonna have to step up, and we saw that the last match they played, 6-4, 6-3, went nearly 2 hours. That's a tough, grueling match for such a low score. And you saw textbook. I played the clips. Go find the videos. How Coco stepped inside. She took pages from Elena Ostapenko's book. She stepped inside. She attacked that first and second serve, hitting winners. She beat Iga at the net. She did very well. But 4-4 love. She's got to fix the double faults because she goes up 5-4. She's got a chance to play extra insane defense, break Iga, and now we have a different match. Up 5-4, you're going to see a lot more aggressiveness from Coco trying to break Iga. She wins the first set, and Coco said it. She said, I felt if I won the first set, it would have been a different match. She said, I think I would have won the match. And we know she would have won the match. Coco plays a lot better from behind, and most players do. When Coco's behind the set, she's still young. She's still learning, which is why I think she's got the best upside, and this is why I say she's the future of tennis. She's still learning because I see she still gets nervous in these situations, you know. She's got to block that out. I think I heard something about her hiring a mental coach. I'm not really sure. I could be wrong. Correct me if you guys know more about that. I think that could benefit a little bit as well. But again, she brought on her junior coaches. I think we might. Brad Gilbert's all about the serve, guys. Andy Roddick's got the fastest server on record for the men's. He was always a big server. Agassi was always a big server. And before the big three, Agassi was one of the guys we were talking about possibly being one of the greatest of all time. So Brad Gilbert's had great success coaching. He was a very young, successful coach in his 30s. He's a great guy and he defends Coco. But I do think, like I said, the reason Coco struggles with Iga is she's got to be a little bit more offensive minded, right? She's just so used to defending so well, and it's tough to change a player's game. But I do see the improvements, and I'm telling you guys, they meet here. If Iga slips up, Coco's going to win the French Open this year. Mark my words. But if they meet in the semifinal, it could be a different matchup. But that's why I think that Coco would dominate Rybakina, and Coco's going to be in this mix. We're going to be asking Rybakina soon who's tougher, Sabalenka or Coco, and she's going to say Coco. But nonetheless, guys, she wants to smoke. Elena Rybakina says she is dominant when it comes to Iga. I agree. She's beat her 7 times. This is the kryptonite right here. You put Rybakina in Iga's draw, she's not going to have these. She's just not going to have these French Open titles. Tennis in a minute. Comment below. We'll be back.